Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to be here in Denver. And without further delay, I would like to introduce my subject, food addiction. We are living in a society where food is religion. Do you agree with that? You can change religion of a nation, but when you touch the cultural flavors, the taste, the way that my mom or my grandma will cook, and you try to change that, you will have a revolution in that society. So one of the reasons why in our society we do have this food as a religion is because we are a emotionally oriented society. When I say emotionally oriented, that means that we in America, in Western countries, we want everything right now, right here. Is that true? I want my comfort zone. I want an instant soup, instant milk, instant barbecue, instant everything. Everything in a twinkle of an eye. So that is where we push to the emotions, and our society is very vividly oriented towards I want happiness, I want taste, I want joy right now, right here. Now, when we talk about food addiction, definitely we have to take in consideration truth as authority, correct? And not authority as truth. And we are talking about the freedom of speech here. You know, if you take the truth as authority, you will never be wrong. But if you take the authority as truth, then we oftentimes misguide the failure, not only to ourselves, but to other people as well. So, food addiction, when you see two kind of brains here, this is more like 21st century in the United States of America, correct? And this is what should be from the original version of what, our eventually Heavenly Father has designed for us as food. Now, in order to create a balance for our mind, our soul, and our stomach, and even our brain, we have to take in consideration the most precious gift, which is what? Life, correct? Then the second after life is what? Food. Food is important for us. Then after food, what kicks in? Quality. Yes? We want quality life. You don't want to be miserable 60 years in a hospital, correct? That's no life. That's a living, morbid cemetery. Cemetery, yes? So after quality, we want what? Happiness. And after happiness, we do want to have fulfillment. So when we take in consideration life on this version, on this type of 5 dimensions, life, food, quality, happiness, fulfillment, we define basically what? The purpose. Now, tell me, it's easy to walk on the rope, to go to sleep at 9 o'clock in the evening when the movie is so interesting and attractive, to go to sleep 9:30 in the evening when I have a big 5,000 calorie barbecue steak. You know, when the sport game is midnight, how can I go to sleep in proper time, 9 o'clock in the evening? So, you see, it is very hard to walk on the rope to preserve a balance in our society and to do really have a balanced lifestyle, because we're not talking about quick fix here. We're talking about deep causes that produces our country to have a pandemic of obesity, putting the United States first place in the world in terms of overweight society. So purpose defines all these 5 elements: life, food, quality, happiness, fulfillment. So now when we talk about food, we have one aspect, food. We can think of many things, about many things when we approach this simple word, food. Now you think about food industry. If you talk about food industry, that means that someone is cooking for you, correct? Now tell me, how natural, how normal is that someone should be employed to produce food for you? Is that okay? We are living in cities, pile up, thousands, hundreds of thousands, and even millions. In China, In China, they have in a village 2.7 million. They eat everything that outside of helicopters and airplanes. Cats, dogs, bugs, worms, snakes, rats, everything that moves outside of helicopters and airplanes. I do have a lot of respect for Chinese culture and society. The life expectancy in China, even though they're 1.5 billion, probably unofficially they are over 2 billion, because once you jump over the fence of the city in Shanghai and you go in the boonies, in the woods, nobody knows how many people are there. So you are talking about 2 billion population in China easily. Life expectancy 45 years of age, and it's interesting that these guys, they have a chronic hepatitis. We traditionally call that yellow race. It's not a yellow race. It's a pigment, it's a biochemical substance that is produced by a sick liver. And what is very interesting is that a Chinese child is born with a sick liver as well. And that life expectancy and degeneracy goes so deep, they lose their reflexes. You know, when you have a sick liver and another vital organ affected, you lose the instincts. The highest rate of car accidents in America is made by Asians. They drive like this because they don't have reflexes because of the chronic hepatitis they have. So it's food related. Tomorrow, if you come over, you will see a little bit of what China study is talking about. And so, however, they have food industry. They have to feed 1.5 billion population. But in the beginning of our creation, I think that every single individual should produce his food and create his food as well as he takes his dress in the morning. When you wake up in the morning, do you call someone to come to dress you? Unless we have certain infirmities, correct? So when if it's a moral duty to dress myself, as long as I have strength and mental ability to dress myself properly, I think it's a moral duty to produce my food. I don't believe that someone has to do gardening for me and I'm going to the store to buy that food that the other guy has worked for. You see, so when you talk about food, if your food is created by somebody else, that's called industry. And you will see what the impact as food industry upon our society. Now, homemade food, is that comparable with food that is created by industry? What do you think? Nothing is like my mother's beans or whatever, rice or potatoes. Nothing is like my wife's soup. So when you talk about food that is homemade, you talk about food in terms of one word, quality, correct? So you don't talk about quality food industry because it's quantity there. You need to feed 1.5 billion population in China. So you don't talk about quality, you talk about quantity. But here, when you talk about homemade, that's quality. So what do you prefer? You prefer quality, correct? And then we talk about food naturally grown. Sometimes you have naturally grown, or sometimes you have artificially designed to stimulate the growth of a plant that didn't see an orchard, correct? A fruit, for instance. Then you have food that is organic. 50 years ago, we didn't have these terms, correct? Your grandma didn't know what organic is, or eventually biologic food is, or GMO, genetically modified organism, or genetically modified or engineered foods. 50 years ago, you didn't hear about that, huh? But today we have this food, and you have food industry, homemade food, naturally grown food, organic, biologic, GMO. That's something that scares us. Like, it looks like a machine, like a GMC, yeah? Like a GMC machine, but it's GMO is something more dangerous because it confuses the immune system and makes us so dumb and stupid when it comes to eat a tomato. The immune system looks to you and says, man, what is this? Half bark, half bacteria, half tomato, what is this? And that's why we create allergies, correct? Life out of balance. It's very hard for us to create a balance in our society when everything is money, correct? Religion is food, and our God is who? The dollar. The dollar, that's the problem. So food addiction is what brings people out of balance. In reality, we eat to live. That's legitimate. That's reasonable. We should eat to live, correct? but we should not live to eat. In reality, this guy here eats a burger bigger than his head because he wants to stay in Denny's book. You heard about Denny's book, yeah? He wants to be, and not only, there is another lady that tried to do the same performance. So the guy has this, and he has to finish in maximum time, and to finish that. He doesn't care about his belly. He doesn't care about what happens after that, because he had a nightmare in the book of Revelation, dreamed over 5 hours trying to sleep. He cares to stay his name in the book of records. So people eat sometime to win. CFRB 1010 Canada. I was in Canada in 2002, and here is a radio station, and all these guys are inviting people to drink water, and they give some money, reward, and there is a lady that drinks so much water that instantaneously collapses in the time of that show and dies, and the husband sues their radio station. Why? People are going crazy for reputation, for a name. They are willing to sacrifice life for being in history and memory. So food addiction has a reason. Now, I went to buy a card, a greeting card for someone. And here is, I'm looking to these cards because I play dumb when I'm going to store. I don't know much about what card and this and that. My wife is super educated in this stuff, but this time I had to buy a card. And I stop here and says, what is this? And they make fun of the people that have health conscious. Says some people are so health conscious that they won't even eat cake and ice cream. And look at the lady, she's an actress, you know, she would never eat that to stay like that, you know, so she's too skinny to eat that junk food, correct? But they make fun, they take an actress or an athlete, a sportman, looks good, and they put all the Coca-Cola and all the fancy sodas there, and he's surrounded of that. But that's a false information. It's media. Media is power. So when we go to talk about food addiction, it's not about the stomach. It's about the brain. When we talk about food addiction, it's nothing to do with the stomach. People are shortcutting they have a surgery to limit their digestive, the intestine, correct? They should cut something in the brain, not here. It's not about the stomach, it's about the brain. So what's happened is the brain reacts to stressors, processes emotion, perceives flavors, translates food in happiness. Yes, brain translates food in happiness. Converts imagination in reality. So the brain has a major role of creating balance in our society. So when we mess up the brain and we poison the brain, then I think that we are dropped and we walk in society without understanding the purpose. Eating for many reasons. What would be the reasons people will eat honestly? The most legitimate reason to eat is, I'm hungry. Is that correct? Yes or no? This is the only legitimate reason to eat. I am what? Hungry. But people eat, I'm not hungry. Did you see people that eat when they are not hungry? And that is a poison. When we eat food or whatever, snacking, when we are not hungry, basically we're digging our grave with our own teeth. People are eating when they are what? Stressed. People are eating when they are happy. And people, as you saw the picture in Yenny's book, they eat to win. Eat and die. But in reality, food addiction is deeper than that. I can't stop eating syndrome. Did you hear about that? People have 1 meal per day from the morning to the evening. They keep eating all the time. Once in 5-10 minutes, they have a snack or a cracker or something. They eat all the time, and that messes really ugly the stomach and the brain and everything. And then we have emotional imbalances. People switch moods. Now I hate you, now I love you, now I this, you know. Because the brain is tired, the stomach is harassed with this kind of I can't stop eating syndrome. Media makes advertisement, you know, over 350 pounds you eat for free. So people are going there and they pay their burgers to eat until they get 350, and then they go and the store says, wow, now you can eat for free. 3 weeks and he's in the cemetery. But you see, people want to eat for free. They want to gain advantage. They eat because dopamine. Dopamine is the hormone, the happiness hormone, yeah? Makes us happy all the time. Few legitimate questions to you, ladies and gentlemen. To what extent does appetite control our lives? Is this a legitimate question? Yes or no? I think it's fair for me to address myself this question, and to you as well as co-friends. And but to which extent does appetite control our lives? Can appetite impact quality of this life? And if appetite becomes master, quote unquote, of our lives, do we lose freedom? So when we lose control of an appetite, we're talking about civilized slavery, correct? A society that is enslaved to the appetite and the flavor and the taste of a food engineered industry that really set the trap for us. So my story now to come, why I'm a pastor, I love Jesus, okay? This is not a religious debate. I'm not coming here to introduce you, my beloved friend Jesus Christ. My purpose is to share with you a little bit of why a pastor, a Christian pastor, preaches about health. Because I tell you something, in North America and in Western countries, all Christian churches are so sick with diabetes, cancer, and heart attack. And we go to churches and we pray, God, heal us, resurrect us, make a miracle for us. And God does that because He loves us. And then we go back to the same lifestyle and we mess up with the same habits. And then we go back to God and plead with God to make another miracle for us to heal. So I had a seminar in Vancouver, and here are these guys from India. They are super high-tech yoga. You know, they have this levitation, transcendental meditation. They are super vegans and stuff. It says, you Christians don't have any religion, guys. You are eating and drinking with no purpose, no sense. Look, and I said, wow. And then I explained to them that we, in the Bible, we do have health principles. We have medicine in the Bible. He says, really? Yes. I opened my first page of the scripture, Genesis chapter 1:29, and I showed them that God by creation made us to be vegans or vegetarians or without any attempt to butcher animals. And they say, wow, so what is the difference between you and us guys? I said, the only difference, because in yoga, if you go to yoga or holistic circles, they have this expression, oh, Mother Nature this, oh, Mother Nature that. Do you love Mother Nature? Yes or no? I love Mother Nature. Everybody loves Mother Nature. Okay, cool. But, and then the people say, what is the difference between you Christians that are vegetarians and us yoga guys? I said, the only difference is that you worship Mother Nature and we worship the Father of the Mother Nature. Does that make sense? You worship the Mother Nature, we worship the God, the Father of the Mother Nature. That's all. I mean, if I eat an apple, I don't worship the apple. Or if I eat a watermelon, I don't worship watermelon, correct? We worship the creator of the watermelon. Now, forget about I didn't want to hijack the subject. But my story is this. I was born here in a small, tiny country in Romania. In America, people know about us three things. Ceausescu. How many of you heard about Ceausescu? Crazy guy, dictator. Dracula. You heard about Dracula? Everybody goes there. And Nadia Comaneci. Three things. So I was born in an environment in that little country. And this was the big guy there that tortured us every day. But let me tell you something. In that communist time, it's interesting that in this little country, most of the people in Romania were having their own gardens. They were plowing their fields. And back in 30 years ago, you had everything biologic, everything organic. Now, somewhere in time, I took off my country and I went to Canada. And I always admired the apples that were so big in size, double or triple than the apples I had in my country. So I rushed into the most expensive store to buy the most expensive apple. And it was written biologic, organic. So I purchased that apple and I took a bite and I thought that I ate a newspaper. No flavor. I said, what is this? And I went to the salesperson. I said, ma'am, is this organic? Yeah, it looks like it has a label, organic. I said, ma'am, I was in a country that in my taste, my brain, perceives flavor of organic. I ate 20-some years organic food every day. So that's not organic, maybe it's a mistake. But you see, that's why I'm traveling. I'm coming from Africa, South America. You never have a chance to bring a fruit from a different countries, tropical countries, and you will have a real flavor of what an organic banana is. But there are regulations. You cannot bring an organic banana here because you will bring some disease. Or you don't bring a mango because you bring a disease. If you will taste the organic flavor of a mango or a banana, and you realize what we eat here, it's something really strange and different. So this is me. I came to Canada and I started to eat. At the age of 18 and 20, I was like this. In 23 years, I became a little, like 240 pounds. I was eating like crazy, everything that was on the market. Basically, I'm vegetarian for 30 years, okay? So since this time, I didn't eat meat at all, 30 years. But the problem is that I was eating my friends 4 eggs. 4 eggs, goat cheese, and French fries. That's a 3,000 calories, roughly, even more. It depends on the quantity. So that was my 3 times a week food. 4 eggs, goat cheese, and French fries. And I came like this. This is me, real, in 2009, March 15. And at this age, I was enjoying these cookies and sugar, fats, and salt, and looked like a Palermo mafia, yes, and that. And I start to feel a cramp on my chest. I got a belly that I could not tie my shoe. I couldn't. I was thinking, and my wife is looking to me. Are you serious? You're a man. And I felt so bad. I said, yes, ma'am, I am a man. Just, I promise. Honey, because I love my wife very much, I said, I will lose weight. And she's looking to me and said, you have no guts, neither power to lose weight. And I felt so bad. Because I didn't have the power. I did not have the power. So, but then I had to lose 80 pounds because what happened is 30 years I didn't eat meat, but I didn't stop eggs and cheese and milk. Do you know that 1 egg has the quantity of cholesterol that your liver produces in 1 week? So let me tell you something. 1 egg has the quantity of cholesterol that your liver produces in a week. So I ate eggs for 500 years in advance. You understand? So I stopped eating eggs because I ate the stock market of China in terms of eggs, okay? So I was this with a high cholesterol and cheese and these eggs and then fries. And cheese, cholesterol 300. I went to the doctor, and the doctor is looking to me and says, Pastor Liviu, you should become a vegetarian. I said, sir, excuse me, sir? He says, you should become a vegetarian. I said, sir, I'm a vegetarian for 20-some years, 25 years at that time. He says, it doesn't look like. You have a cholesterol 300, you are a vegetarian. Give me a break, man. Tell this story to someone else. So sometimes we think that if we're vegetarians and we indulge this cheese and stuff, and dairy that has high potential in fats and refined carbs, we think that we're okay, but we are not. So I had cramps, I was 1 step to heart attack. Acidity was level 5. Crazy, I was a mess. The immune system was shut down. It says, man, if you don't do something, you're gonna die. So I was shocked. This is my eggs, the eggs. This is a blood artery. You saw that in magazines. Everybody is going to internet to see how an artery looks like. And everything, this is a pipe, the heart pumps blood towards the extremes of the body, and if we have more fats, they go here and they suffocate that pipe. And then you have blood pressure and all these things. So that was my issue, overeating fats. And then the liver, this is a fatty liver, the cirrhotic liver. When the liver, this is a normal liver, when the liver does not, is not capable to dispatch the fats, then will suicide. You start to hold on fats there, and that's a cirrhotic liver. It's a liver which will lead you to cirrhosis and all the kind of collapse, So this is very interesting. That was my experience. And I want to say that by the grace of God, I cut all those things, and in 1 year and a half, I lost around 80 pounds. So from 240 pounds, I came 160. I was even 157 because you lose a lot of muscles. When you take off all the fats, the body needs protein, so it takes from the muscles a little bit of protein in. But then you rebuild muscles too. I can do my push-ups. I can show you tomorrow if you want, or Sunday. And I am almost 50, you know, and I do jogging, you know, 6-7 miles every day. I walk, I jog, yeah, I do my push-ups, some abs, and I'm okay. And I want to tell you, my wife is really upset with me because he's not really good. You know, hey, hold on, you know, let's get older together, not alone, you know, in a sense. So, but this is interesting. You can do things. Now, what's happened in America, how you can be me in this situation. An average American consumes 15 cows in a lifetime, 12 hogs, 900 chickens, 12 sheep, 1,000 pounds of other kind of animals. And in order to see a review in 1880, an American farmer or American citizen will eat only 13.7 kilograms, which is 27 pounds roughly per year, okay? 27 pounds per year in 1880. In 90, they doubled almost 90 pounds, 19 pounds. In 1900. In 1975, you are going to eat around 170 pounds of meat. In 1993, almost 200 pounds. And in 2016, it's almost 240 pounds meat per year. It's an explosion. And someone is advertising this increase of meat eating and meat production in our society, correct? You have an empire of chickens for an empire of bellies, correct? And that's why I take McDonald's, our good friends, McDonald's. You know, in 1968, McDonald's fast food company was operating how many locations? 1,000. 1968, 1 year before I was born. In 2010, McDonald's operates 23,000 locations worldwide. Yearly, McDonald's opens over 2,000 new locations in the world. Every year, they employ more personnel than the entire U.S. Army. People are eating meat and they are digging their grave with their own teeth. That's crazy. The two golden arches of McDonald's are more widely known than the cross of Christ. If you go in China and ask, hey, do you know that? Did you hear about Jesus? Did you hear about McDonald's? This sign. Did you see this sign? McDonald, do you see this sign? Oh yes, we have that in China. You know, so 46 million served per day, and 100 countries in 6 continents. This is the fast food industry that grows like crazy. Now, what is interesting about food industry, because you see here, we are fed to die. The food industry has a huge 24% margin of income in every year. Here in 2007, you have 4.43 trillions US dollars, comparing with 2.1 in 1992. So you see the income, the benefit, the income of the food industry is doubling almost every 10 years because people eat more and more and more and more meat. Now, pharmaceutical industry goes ballistic as well. In reality, our society is controlled by 2 monopolists, 2 pillars, the food industry and pharmaceutical industry. And they shake hands behind the curtain. You know, I'm going here, I'm the food industry, I shake hands with the pharmaceutical industry on the other side. And we shake hands. You feed them to get them sick, and we will treat them for the rest of their life, correct? And this is what happens. You know, once you get diabetes, cancer, heart problems, you go to the doctor and pills, it's comfort zone. I don't want to change lifestyle, give me some magic pills. And people relate to this situation. And they prefer to take a pill, anti-blood pressure medication, rather to change their lifestyle, correct? So then everybody wins. I don't change my custom, I don't change my lifestyle, and you give me the pills. They win the money, I lose the health, correct? So food industry and pharmaceutical industry, they are working hand in hand. And we are abused, civilized slaves. with the TVs and everything. Tomorrow morning when we talk about couch potato generation, you see what's next in the arena. But when you look to these facts, the last year, U.S. Pfizer, the world's largest drug company, pharmaceutical revenue, has an eye-watering 42% margin. That's huge. That's huge income. And the food industry, 24%. They just switched the numbers, okay? Now, look at this pharmaceutical industry, 42%. I thought that banks make more money than the food industry or pharmaceutical, but they do more than food industry in a sense. But pharmaceutical is 42, banks 29, car makers 10%, oil, gas 24%, and media 18%. But who leads in getting the most amount of money in our society is the pharmaceutical industry. Profit margin, that's big. Now, danger. Sleeping pills. I have the 7 most dangerous pills or elements that can threaten your life terribly. Sleeping pills, cholesterol drugs, blood pressure drugs, Alzheimer's drugs, arthritis drugs, and diabetes drugs, and the last one is chemotherapy. These are the 7 things that kills more people than the food industry, in a sense. So we have to think. I went to Australia, by the way. I went to Australia for a seminar, a health seminar, 3 months ago. And I was preparing my PowerPoint, waiting in Brisbane to switch flights. I was in the plane already for Melbourne. And I'm preparing my PowerPoint and using Michael Moss, which is one of the greatest journalists in New York. He had an investigation in the food industry. He got 2 years in a row, 2010 Pulitzer Prize for the most extraordinary individual. So I was looking and taking one of quotations, and I'm looking in the plane, guess what? In the plane comes this guy. While I was working, I was like, what? I could not believe it. Here, Michael Moss had another conference in Melbourne. I came and we smiled at each other. You know, the flight had to take off, so it was an amazing coincidence. So I said, Father, maybe you are right. Oftentimes we believe in accidents, but I want coincidence. But coincidence is always the discrete manner that God works. We call that coincidence, but it's the discrete manner in which God can work things together. So what this guy says, does he prove that the food-addicted people, the same centers are activated exactly like those people that are dependent on alcohol, tobacco, and drugs? So what he did, he went to investigate what's happening in the laboratories. Those people that are dressed in white, nicely designed, and they play with the flavor and the taste of our brain. So the guy says they produce food to drug us, to make us addicted. And what he says, that the sugar is number 1, salt and fats. This is the triangle of death that is in food industry today. And this is, in fact, salt, sugar, and fats have brought our happiness hormone to the highest level possible. Dopamine. And once we eat sugar, salt, and fats all together, we are drugged. It's like, I want to tell you that sugar elevates the level of dopamine to the level of cocaine. Cocaine elevates 200 times. It exhausts the brain of energy and everything. And this drug, sugar, salt, and fats together, makes us happy all the time. Now, diabetes, cancer, and heart disease are the other 3 sisters. So we have in one hand what? Sugar, fats, and salt. And in the other hand, we have what? 3 sisters: cancer, diabetes, and heart problems, heart disease. So what is very interesting, I have a list with foods that you should avoid because this is processed, and you know, it will create dependence. Everything is over 2. The indication of everything that is over 2 index, that creates dependence. So you have pizza, it's top line, 4.01 element of dependence. And then chocolate, and then chips, cookies, ice cream, French fries, cheeseburgers, sodas, you know, cake, and I can continue the list. Cheese, bacon, fried chicken, role-playing, popcorn, breakfast cereals, gummy candy, stick, muffins. These are really addictive elements that you find in the food industry everywhere in the stores, correct? Now look at this. When you go to the raw food that is not processed, you notice that the addiction index goes really down. Cucumbers, 1.53, means that your brain will not be stimulated and the brain will not become dependent on cucumbers. Carrots, 1.6, beans, 1.63, apples, brown rice, broccoli, banana, so on and so forth, corn, they are staying under 2 level index of addiction, which means that you can eat that and you don't crave, you don't die if you don't eat that, you know. Strawberries, granola bar, so on and so forth. Water is not addictive in a sense. But the rest, as you saw, it's food industry, it's what mixed salt, sugar, and fats. That will destroy us. You see, I'm a person that doesn't abide by this. This is a politician motto. If you want to stay popular, tell people what? Good things about their wrong habits. That's why if you want to be popular, if you want to go to Washington, D.C., you can have this concept of like a principle, if it's not a principle. If you want to stay popular, tell people good things about their wrong habits. But I do believe that is not good. It's not decent, it's not ethical. We should tell people the truth about the wrong habits.
Amen.
Heart disease is a problem, as I said, diabetes and cancer. These are the consequences of food addiction and the food industry, my friends. And in reality, have you ever seen a person addicted to watermelon? It looks like a cannibal, but he's not addicted really, yes? So if you indulge yourself to eat fruits and vegetables, that will be the best scenario. Get rid of your food industry, try to plant your garden, try to eat as much unprocessed food, because what you will see in the following is the more you expose your food to temperature, you change the chemistry of that food. Do you have microwaves in your home? Microwaves really changes the chemistry of that food that you put there. In 1.5 minutes, you put let me see. If you put a cucumber in 1.5 minutes, it becomes a watermelon. Okay, so it changes totally the chemistry of that food. So every exposure to temperature will produce that. Food addiction, it's a way out. How can we get the power to say no? And here is my point. This theory, everybody knows theory, correct? But when the doctor told me, man, you are going to die. I have 5 kids. And I went in the street and I said, Lord, I am dead meat. I'm lost. I don't have power. I recognize myself defeated. I was addicted to food. I could not control the way that I eat. I was always indulging food. And I said, I'm okay, until I saw the reality of my life. And I was not mentally ready to die, sincerely. I enjoy life. I have a beautiful family. My wife is wonderful, the kids as well. So why should you die? Who loves these kind of news? You are 42 and now you prepare yourself a casket, a cemetery grave, and go there. I don't want to go there. Do you want to go there? No, nobody wants. So I went in the street and I said, God, where in the universe I can get this power to say no to the food I ate? You know, I have some friends with me here in the auditorium, and I remember we went to Virginia, Roanoke, and I had a chance with 3 teenagers to go to eat Pizza Hut at 11 o'clock in the night. I was eating like a dragon. We indulged 1 hour and a half. We were laughing, having fun, good time. But then the teenagers went to sleep. They didn't have anything. But I, a big elephant, old elephant, you know, I had to struggle all my life, all my nights. You know, 5-6 hours I was swimming in bed, you know, trying to digest the pizza. And all these abuses affect us. Not our relationship with God, but our relationship with the people around us. And you see, you cannot talk about food addiction without talking about what is my relationship with my neighbors. Do you know that in 2030, around 28% of society will be in antidepressant medication, and 20% of these will not have any results because we unbalance life. We don't have a balance in our life in eating, in sleeping, in physical exercise. We indulge to hate more than to love. So all these things makes humanity something different that was intended by its origin and Genesis, correct? So where do I get the power to say no? I was looking to the blue sky in California. I was crying. I didn't want to tell my wife the truth. And I said, God, I'm willing to help me with everything because I don't have power. I recognize myself defeated. Many people, alcoholics, they say, look, I know that alcohol is not good, but I don't have the power. So my point tonight is, we understand these facts. Where do we get the power to get rid of addiction? I want to be a free man. I want to be a free woman. You can say to yourself, I want to be a free human being. I want to live a life that is worth of respect and decency. I want really to be someone. And if I live 70 or 80, that's fine, that's beautiful. But I don't want to make it in the hospitals. I want to make it on my knees, on my feet, correct? And Emiliano Zapata, a Mexican guy, one of the greatest revolutionaries in Mexico, had a saying like this, I rather prefer to die on my knees, to die on my feet, rather to spend my life on my knees as a slave. So we have a choice tonight, to walk on our knees, slaves, miserable for our life, or to stand for ourselves, get hold of the hand of the one that can strengthen the willpower. Where do I get the power to say no to addiction to foods? It's here. It's a choice. Now, I just have one scripture to see that Bible is a book of medicine too. One of the greatest authors of one of the books says, all things are lawful, meaning that we are free human beings, correct? We can taste everything, but not everything is good, correct? And I will not be brought under any power, under the power of any, meaning that you don't trade in your freedom. You don't trade in your freedom for foods. Because if you trade in your freedom for foods, you are a slave and you are dead meat. Amen. That's the reality. So, what is wrong with this picture? Do you see something wrong here? You have cookies, 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 and here is a Scotch tape. What is wrong with this picture? The Scotch tape should not be here, should be here, correct? It's a wrong place where they put the Scotch tape. It should be in the brain, not here, yes? That's wrong with that picture. People, I have to become a nun. I have to become a monk. Go to the monastery. I don't want to see cookies. I don't want to see meat. I don't want to see barbecue. That's not the solution. The solution is something to change here. And that's only, I believe, the more processed food, the more caloric index. The more processed food, the more addictive. The more processed food, the less response from the brain. The more processed food, the less nutrients. So we are losing in all four corners eating processed food. You understand? Replace the refined white flour, any pastry. This is factor of constipation, which makes you to reabsorb toxins to the colon level. And then you have headaches and go and take Tylenol, correct? So headaches always have a reason, many reasons, not only one. But constipation is created by lack of fiber in this white. Avoid everything that is white. Take this stuff in consideration, all grain flour, and that with a lot of fiber will make a difference in between what you eat and what you don't eat. Quality whole grain flour, when you talk about bread, take this bread. Every bread in America is made by food industry has sugar. That's why you need that, I need that, to cleanse our colon and be healthy from the top to the bottom, yes? Now, replace this oil with a real oil. This is the oil industry, it's multi-billion industry, and you have to have your olive oil in the morning. You eat your olive oil with salad or salad with olive oil, you know? I love my mother-in-law. In our family, we have three customs. The in-laws eat traditionally. Some of the kids eat differently than traditionally, and me and some others are eating differently. So we have three types of dishes. So my mother-in-law is sometimes calling me, he says, Liviu, go and buy oil. And sometimes she talks to me and says, hey, how was your missionary outreach in Africa? And she's putting oil in the soup. I said, Mom, stop. Stop. You know, she's talking about she's putting oil. So sometimes you don't know. You eat oil with soup or soup with oil, you know. So I understand we need fats. Oh, I don't take oil from anybody. Just try to be reasonable in a sense of understanding the oil industry. Replace this oil with this oil. Does that make sense or not? This is the oil that God has created for us because it's not processed. Do you know what happens with the oil when you elevate the oil to temperature? Oh, if you put 1 tablespoon of oil or something like that, good quality oil, it's okay, it's not a catastrophe. But the problem is that we take much more oil in our bodies than is necessary. So that's really the oil. That's the source where we can take the good quality oil. Do you agree with that, or am I speaking nonsense? That's the good quality oil. And in reality, do you know how many olives do you need to eat to get a tablespoon of oil? 40 small olives get a tablespoon of oil. Yeah, so 180 calories, 190 calories, 4 tablespoons of oil is roughly what? 750 calories. Let me translate that something, because you don't understand, or I don't understand. I want to share a practical example to you. So to burn these 750 calories, 4 tablespoons of oil plus the food. 750 calories, roughly, you run like crazy, 15 minutes to 1 hour, 6.2 to 6.5 pace per hour. Running like crazy for almost an hour to burn 4 tablespoons of oil. Tell me if it's worth it. No, it's not. You know, if someone will give you 4 tablespoons of oil and says, no, eat this tablespoon of oil and then you run for 1 hour. Am I crazy? Give me a break, man. I don't want that. You see, so this is the problem where we get, people says, oh, I eat salads and I don't know why I don't lose weight. Sure, they have 100 grams of oil there. Put in salad and you don't lose weight, definitely, because you have empty calories in a sense. But however, this is frightening. You know, 50 to 1 hour, 6.2, 6.5 pace or running, jogging like crazy to burn 750 calories. In reality, empty calories, because beside calories, you have no nutrients nutrient value in the food, in the oil, and sugar, the same thing. So this is not food. This is processed food. This is drug, and people are indulging and eating this every day. I was one of those, honestly. So my life was a mess. So I am the most idiotic individual that was ever dependent on this kind of food. So I have no reason to brag or to be proud of anything. You know, I just praise God that He gave me extra life, borrowed grace. And oftentimes I look backwards in my life and I say, you know what, God, I'm really sorry that I abused freedom. Oftentimes we Christians say, well, we are free to drink, eat, and so on and so forth. Yes, but sometimes we abuse freedom on the expense of our own health. I don't think that God wants that. Natural products, look at this, 100 calories, two chicken nuggets, 100 calories, a lentil soup, 1 to 1.4, you have the same quantity of calories. You know, this is 1 cashew, 6 small potatoes baked, 800 calories, 2 fig tree Newtons, the cookies, you know, you have to eat a cantaloupe. You see the difference? Processed food, non-processed food? It's very simple. 450 calories pineapple, and then you have a little bit of teddy bears, yes? There. Gummy bears, teddy bears. You know, it's interesting how easily, who eats only that? When somebody open a bag of gummy bear, they eat only few? Or they eat the entire food? So here is where the processed food outstands. 200 calories. Do you have to eat this celery or chips? A little bit of chips. Are you hungry when you eat this? You are still hungry, correct? But if you eat that celery, you will be full. Basically, more than 500 calories you cannot get in a raw food in your stomach. Standard. So if you start to eat broccoli, you fill up your stomach with broccoli or raw food, and you don't get more than 550 calories in your stomach. Look at this little chocolate, yeah? And then you have to eat the green peppery stuff, 200 calories. And then look at the broccoli, 200 calories and crackers. You know, eat that or eat this. You see processed versus unprocessed. The real food, the unrefined carbs, and the processed food that is exposed to temperature. That's the real oil. If you're a computer guy, some tips for tonight. If you're a computer guy, eat more fruits, because that's the food for the brain. If you are a guy that works with the muscles, you eat more vegetables. Make sense? Yes or no? Simple as this. Those that those that want to be healthy and do not take care of their diet are wasting their money and their doctor's time. Correct? So unless we change our lifestyle, you can take pills, you can do magic or whatever, diets for 10 days, and then you go back in the same mess. It doesn't work. So 30 days reboot system. If you quit your foods that addict you for 30 days, the brain will reboot the system. It's amazing how God has created our ability to give up foods for 30 days, and you will be free of that addiction for a while, you know. So 30 days reboot system, getting this kind of food looks good, correct? Doesn't have a bad gross smell, you know, and it's very appetizing. Alexander the Great was the guy that at the age of 32 conquered the entire world. He was 32, 10 years, conquered everybody, but what was said that at the age of 32, he was conquered by wine, alcohol. He could not stand that. The most powerful warrior in the world, he was conquered by the wine. So here, it's a problem, yes? We can be strong people in different aspects or segments of our life, but we can be weak and fail miserably to food and drinking and so on and so forth, other lifestyles. Alvin Toffler says, the secret of power is what? Information. Well, this is very well received by agnostics or atheists. The secret of power is information. So if you access the right information, you are a powerful man and woman, correct? But I want to tell you something that Alvin Toffler stole this information from someone who said it 2,000 years ago, and that's Jesus. It says, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Is the same thing? Different language. But people say, oh, that's beautiful. When you say Jesus, give me a religion. Oh, I don't need that. But you have the same thing. The secret of power is information. And here, Jesus says, if you receive the truth, that is information. You will be free, no slave. Correct? Yeah. So that is our problem. If the story of Adam and Eve is true, when we then, human race, have an appetite problem. Is that true? Yes or no? Because I remember Adam and Eve, this apple eating when you are not hungry, Genesis story, kids story, bedtime story, yeah? If that is true, we humanity have a problem with appetite. And where do we get the power to say no? The power to say no to those foods that can destroy us. 40 days, Jesus did it in wilderness. It is amazing, my friends. 40 days he didn't eat and he didn't drink anything to give you the willpower. Today, in the world, there are institutions and scientists that discovered the power of fasting that strengthen the willpower of your brain to say no. So fasting is giving us boost. If you are weak and you don't have willpower, if you fast, you will start to strengthen again the willpower to say no. So fasting has a purpose, have a reason, extend life expectancy, quality, lucidity, and serenity of your brain. It's amazing. In the last 5 years, almost every week, there were weeks that I didn't, almost every week I was in fasting 2 or 3 days in the last 5 years. And I'm okay. I'm okay. I do believe that Jesus did it for you and for me, and we can do it. I remember Obama, former President Obama, he had a magic statement. Yes, we can. And I do believe that he was right, especially if you take the context in the biblical version. I can do all things through Christ that strengthen me. Yes, we can. Through Christ, we can do these things. So that's for today, for the evening. And I thank you very much for coming for the first introductory session. Tomorrow morning we will talk about food addiction. I think it's 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, yes. So I thank you very much for being here patient with me. And I do really believe that I do really believe that tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, if you have time and space, you will come over. And I hope that I will not lose my friends on the way while I'm dealing with the truth. So I will defer to my one of the best friends, Dr. John Bear, to make final announcements for tonight. And those who have time and space to come tomorrow for 10 o'clock, that would be fantastic. And if you have friends, bring them here too. If you have enemies, bring them too. You know, because if you don't have friends, I understand, we're living in a society like this. If you have enemies, bring them too, because we become better people here. So thank you very much once again, and I defer the floor to Dr. John. Thank you.